Royce Morales is the founder and teacher of the Perfect Life Awakening program, author, columnist, and expert on mirroring. She empowers clients with her profound process that helps neutralize self-sabotage, shift stuck patterns and negative thinking by locating the origins of limiting, subconscious programmed beliefs. Live an authentic existence. Discover your true purpose. Connect with your higher consciousness. Reset your life. Transform from triggered to empowered and attract what you truly desire and deserve by discovering what life is reflecting to you. Because it's all mirrors.
Hello, welcome to my show. I am so excited today. I have an incredibly special. He was barely 17. He was one of my students, mature now. And just an all-around amazing experience happens from applying the teaching program. But before we get into that, I want to just talk a little bit more about mirroring, because that's the theme of this show. And I think we've been doing it 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. And I keep showing you different aspects of mirroring and how you can apply your life. And today's aspect is very appropriate for my guest because it's all about motivation and intention. So I want to just remind everybody, let's do our little refresh and talk about what mirroring is. So let's look at that first slide once again. And mirroring, it's the unalterable universal law of energy, just like gravity, that nothing can ever be suppressed. And I always use my little seesaw as an example. So if you're pushing down one side of a seesaw, it has to come up in life. And so mirroring what others and life reflect to you that you're suppressing or in denial of about yourself. And they're an accurate tool. You can't hide a mirror. Look in the morning, that's the truth, no matter what you look like. So that is mirroring, and let's talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. There it is. So the rule of thumb, whenever a button is pushed or you feel aware of something to see about yourself, and that's set in stone, always. And in case you're not completely familiar with buttons or triggers, they often feel like negative emotion, or suddenly you have judgmental thoughts or words, bad mouthing, needing to be right, feeling guilt, defensive, even feeling apathetic, or wanting to blame, or wanting revenge, feeling hopeless, or feeling that fight, flight reaction. All of those things show you that you are in a trigger. And what they're really showing you, if you stop and look at them and tell the truth, there's something reflected about to see. This is a hard one, but the less possibly be, the more denial of what's. For example, I spent a greater part of growing up mother at all. I am not at all like judgmental, negative with. Guess what? I found out that she was just showing me something I was. So that's the one to look at. So let's talk about the next slide, which is basically what we're going to be focusing on today. Is mirrors and intention. This is a tough one. We're in so much denial. So others, exactly what you truly for them to hear, no matter what your words are. So you could be saying, I love you, but really intending that you hate them. And that's what they'll get on some level. They might hear those words, but they're feeling something different inside. They may not be able to verbalize it. They may not know it consciously, but that's what's going on. true intention, the real motives behind the words back. I was doing a retreat several years ago, and I was talking to them on the mirroring. Nobody liked it, of course. Everybody hates this concept. And one of my students looked at me and said, "Oh, I hate you," just like that. And I looked at her, and what I heard, so much for telling me this truth. And I said that I really do, is I love what I do. I'm so grateful for this. So that's a really important one. And we're going to talk today. So on the next slide, let's talk about true intention. Mentioning about intention before, that's what people really hear. But what does that mean? True intention is the underlying hidden motive behind what you're saying or doing. Now, usually our hidden intention is, and at times it's manipulative. So you might say something, "Oh, could you," and inside we're saying, "Gosh, I really don't want you to clean up your room because then I get to be really mad at you all the time and I get to yell at you and maybe that's a bad example." The fear-based underlying hidden motive behind what you say or do is what your true intent is. And sometimes it's hard to get in touch with that because we're not really mindful of our true intention. But once you start seeing it, once you see that, wow, every time I want him to, clean up the house, what I'm really saying is, please don't, because then I get to be a victim or whatever. Usually our truth, because fear-based, comes from some needy expectation. If I get this person to do it, I'll be healed, saved, etc. And of course, none of that stuff is going to happen from an external manifestation. The truth, if your intention, mirrors are going to reflect that in some way. Let that sink in. If you attention underneath what you're saying is coming from fear and neediness, and mirrors are going to reflect that in some way. You're not going to get want, or you're going to get rebelliousness, or you're going to get anger, or you're going to get somebody walking out of the room. And the flip side of that is, if you're observing, trusting, truthful place, that will be reflected as well. So if you say to your husband, please clean up the house, and your motive is really pure, and I feel deserving of him cleaning up the house, that's the key word, that's going to be reflected as well. So check out your true intention, and I'm going to talk about that as well, because as and it's also about the next slide, which I want to talk about, which is motivation. There we are. So if you're having a difficult time motivating others, trying to get others to do something or to change or to bring you roses on your birthday, whatever it is, of what you need to motivate or change in yourself, what is true intention? The first thing is, know the word motivation. The root of the word is motive, right there. So if you have an impure motive trying to motivate, that's what's going to be. So just keep that in mind. And the other thing is a personal story. Interestingly enough, remembering this as I'm talking, that with my first husband, we were married. He was like the biggest slob in the world. Kind of person that would come home, drop his briefcase, it off the floor, put his dirty clothes on the bed or whatever. And it used to drive me crazy. No matter what I would say to him, no matter the threats I would say to him, he just couldn't. In time, took his dirty socks and put them with the message across. And it was funny. He didn't. But what's interesting about this, that I couldn't motivate him, guess what? When we got divorced, about a week after he was out of the house, I looked around and I thought, wow, such a mess. And I realized that I was the one that was the slob, and I had been surprised in our 7 years of marriage, because the wife is supposed to be the neat one and keep the house clean. I had, for whatever reason, I thought that was really interesting, that really I was trying to change myself. And I know if I had been able to go back in time to realize that about myself and shifted my intention and was pure and realized it was just I was trying to change, I would change. He would stop mirroring that part of me. With all of that in motivation, intention, mirroring, I want to bring on my amazing guest. So let's bring on Eddie. Where are you? There he is. And we can get rid of it.
Hey, Royce, how are you?
Oh, now you just, where are you? Eddie Lester, welcome. I am so thrilled you're here. You just have no idea what an honor it is to introduce you to the world. Gosh, I have
awesome.
I've known Eddie just barely 17. He walked into my class with his mom, and I thought that was pretty remarkable, because I would never have walked into any place with my mom like that. And I immediately thought they must have a really special relationship. That was just awesome. And I got to watch Eddie grow up, evolve into this amazing businessman, and he'll explain what he does in a few minutes. But he founded the organization called Fitness Mentor. Teaches personal trainers, people, become amazing personal trainers with these businesses out of whatever it is they're. So, what motivation could you possibly be doing in your life to motivate people to motivate? That was really interesting. That was, yeah. So he's written books.
I'm super happy to be here. I just want to say thank you so much for having me, and our time spent together and teaching and learning, and that has been amazing to be here and talk a little bit more.
Well, as I said, it's my honor, and I have to say I've had hundreds, maybe thousands through the years, and there's a few that really stand out in terms of really applying this work, and you're one of them, definitely. I just think it's amazing what you do with this, and I can, in terms of your clients and your, that's just so exciting to me. So you're all about motivation. Let me see what else I wanted to say. Yeah, so you've written books, you have a YouTube channel, you have a blog, podcasts, all kinds of things. And what I love, which I read on your website, is that you focus on the bigger picture, how the daily positive contributions that all of us make, whatever they are, whether they're exercise or reading a book, whatever those things are, they lead to a major impact on your family and community and ultimately the world. I always talk about how everything is good, and one person changing can change the world. So let's talk about what you do. How did you start doing this? Tell us your story.
Yeah, for sure. Well, a lot of this starts back a lot of kind of we'll say my teenage years. I was an athlete, and a lot of what I did was just trying to get better at that, and really starting in the fitness area. I actually ran over by a lifeguard truck when I was 14 years old. I was ran over on the beach, sitting watching the waves, and just all the and uniquely, this while slightly traumatic, really led me down a path of being exposed, healers kind of do. And when I say healers, I mean, physical therapists, people, we'll say, doctors, different doctors that diagnosing certain injuries, things like that. And I went through the process of understanding the we'll say how someone can, or not doing it, work to help others in a physical way. And that the more that I took care of myself and the more the effort that I put into my physical or fitness, we'll say, it really led to outcomes in my sport. And also it was fun to me. It was fun to and to try to bet in the hopes of becoming a better surfer and competing and becoming professional and going down that route. So as far as my fitness journey, it really started kind of at that moment, recognizing that there's a whole career path dedicated to help become healthy, become injury free, become pain free, and move in that direction. When it to what's brought me to this point, that I actually attribute to kind of the self-discovery process through your classes. And actually, when I was 17 years old and going to your first series classes with my mom on, I think it was Wednesday nights or whatnot, I was really, there was a lot of, we'll say, opportunities that you gave to explore, purpose. Or what am I here to do on this earth? What am I here to do to help others, to grow, to learn? And a lot of that really to we'll say, improving myself, working on myself to be as loving and we'll say open to experiences that can help me grow. And then B is really how can I really over the last, we'll say, 10 years of health and fitness, it has really, we'll say, helping others in a way that's beyond just, hey, I need to to lose weight or goal. It's been really learn to love themselves more through working with me.
Yes.
And that's one thing that's sort of this path is to recognize that any work that I do and with others is really about growing and growing, and then also helping others the next steps and be motivated to take the next steps to choose to improve themselves. And like you mentioned in my bio on my website, or what I talk about a lot in the work that I do is when you're able to and change and help and grow within yourself, that really allows you to do your job better. When you're able to help, we'll say, others will improve themselves, love themselves more, commit, and that really allows them to go out into the world and do what they do for a career or for others better. And it's this big, beautiful, cycle that improves the world. And I think, and this sort of talk, the important recognizing that self-love is one of the most important things that you can work on. Is one of I will say pillars to what I do, and that the more that I can do that myself, the more that we have this beautiful exponential love within our surroundings, and then that exponentially leads out to the world. So that's really the short story long into what I do. That's really what's been my motivation underlying.
Can you? I love that story. That is beautiful. Can you take it one step further and share a little bit, you guys, when working with a long time with mom?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. So when I was first exploring in my and really even understanding that, wow, I have a purpose here. I'm not just an animal on this planet yet. Really here to grow or to learn or to help or to have. I'm here to a purpose on this planet in my opinion, it's always growth. But how am I going to grow in this life? When I was really exploring that, I remember a few specific meditations around lower self and higher and self and how all kind of led towards the purpose 7, 8, or 9 in your series around just understanding that you have a purpose. It really in which I realized that like I mentioned, I have multiple purposes of self-love effect, but I realized, and I knew now understanding this, I knew this at a very early age, that I was really here to mom myself more.
Yes.
And I think kind of putting that a little bit more simply, she was my first, we'll say, challenge. It's like, hey, if you're here on this earth to help people love themselves more, let's give you a hard one to start. Let's give you no, but let's give you a good student. You're going to be a lot of history with it. You're going to work through a lot of issues and mirrors and buttons and we'll say angst towards to really go out into the world, help others in the supposed to help her. And so I feel like a lot of my purpose in this initial experience of recognizing that there's someone so important. I am here on help them love themselves more, and it was this very simplified sort of feeling of, okay, I'm but I'm also here to recognize that if I can do the work to myself and learn about this purpose to help her, it's going to expand my ability to love myself, others love themselves more. So that's definitely where a big start to my purpose from.
Well, in case anybody understand or buy into the notion that we choose our purpose for very particular reasons in terms of our higher consciousness growth and evolution, that's what Eddie is talking about, that he would have chosen somebody that would be his biggest challenge, let's say, to help her learn self-love and ultimately to help you learn self-love. So that might be something that anybody watching this would start to notice about themselves. I know with, I had very specific purposes of choosing my parents as well. And it was very enlightening to me to see, oh, that's why I'm with these people. Yeah. So, thank you. That was
What I guess kind of building off that last comment that you said,
okay.
I fully believe that everyone we choose in this life is there to help us grow, and
Yes.
and related to all areas of the people that I've chosen in my life. There's a very clear purpose that each of them serve, and some of the people that I don't get along with as well, or that love me to death, but everyone has this beautiful, we'll say, being in my life that recognizing that reason, choosing to be active in what am I them what I learn,
Yeah.
and being open is so important. So I add up for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So in other words, they are showing you a mirror, perhaps.
To show that there's ways that
Yeah.
I think the mirrors are the
They are. our face, that's for sure. So we need to take a break, and then I'm going to talk to Eddie specifically about how he motivates. By the way, he has 4 kids, so he must be an expert on every level of life of others to love themselves or to do their purpose, which, is equally important. Think about that and talk about how you help your clients deal with their fears and motivate them past their fears and majors, etc. So tune in. We'll be right back.
Om Times TV. Do you want to break free from old patterns and limiting beliefs that subconsciously sabotage your life? What are your triggers, and what really is beneath them? Are you seeking answers to life's big questions, intrigued by the possibility of self-discovery that goes deep? Looking for tools to help you break free from hidden sources of feeling stuck, confused, and unworthy? Perfect Life Awakening takes you on an epic inner adventure that shifts your perception of yourself, others, and life permanently. Identify and overcome the origins of subconscious triggers and limiting beliefs holding you back. That's how you transform your mindset from the roots. That's how you liberate your spirit, awaken your intuition, and discover your true purpose. Dive deep into the mysteries held within. Embark on a life-altering journey of self-discovery. Be a trailblazer within your own life. Go from triggered to empowered because you deserve a perfect life awakening. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back. I'm talking with amazing personal trainer of trainers and is the founder and CEO of Fitness Mentors, and he'll tell us about that a little bit later. But we're talking about motivation. We're talking how to help people get past their fears and their insecurities and their issues and all that stuff so that they can move others. But what I really want to know is, how do you use mirrors in terms of dealing with people or assisting them in getting in touch with their own motivate people? Part of what you do with people?
Yeah, well, wise. Obviously, motivation is a part of you.
Yeah.
I've always kind of had the feel that mirrors of as far as people understand the concepts of mirrors, it's been a little bit difficult for me to feel like that a front-facing sort of element to what I do. That I utilize mirrors to recognize that there's a place to grow. I earlier, in the sense of my life I need to work on as far as improve are all shown to me through mirrors, and that's very, very understand. What I tend to kind of focus on is the concept of what saying the word mirror as sometimes it's maybe triggering for people that don't quite I'm often to talk about the recognition of in their lives that aren't and this is to motivate them to recognize there's room for growth, there's room to learn. And what I typically do is I talk about how that everything that we do, there's a learning experience involved. And while exercise, may not feel good and they may not be the about the why are you not motivated to exercise? Why are you feeling this way? Are you like you don't want to do this? And often what these questions is someone's been, we'll say in a belief, or we'll say they've been more unable to act and commit because of an underlying issue or a reoccurring theme, or what we know as to be a belief that keeps them stuck. So oftentimes the way that I help that is start just about why is this the way, or why do you feel like this is a sticking point for you, and oftentimes what's is just a bigger conversation about truly how they feel about certain things. And oftentimes while I may not get, we'll say, to the root source of what's causing the issue, having them talk about something difficult for them, open ability to recognize that it is an issue that might need changing. And when we think about motivation and exercise, show up is a huge battle. And that's why in the personal, one of your biggest things that you need to do for not only for others to motivate them to show up. And just open conversation and asking questions, I feel like is a really great way for anyone, but especially a personal trainer, to motivate someone. Is let's talk about it just a little further as far as what it is that you are making this so difficult. And hour of someone's, sometimes you're moving from exercise to exercise, but there's a lot of downtime in which you can talk with someone. And what personal trainers often get labeled as so many different of help. And as personal trainers, we're not supposed to be directly a therapist. We're not supposed to be a doctor. We're not supposed to be these other career paths. But oftentimes, just simply being there and asking questions and listening, opportunity motivates, help them open up really to the that are keeping them losing weight. A lot of my clients has been a struggle for a while, and then asking them and talking to them and motivating them through just literally talking with them and or asking open questions and listening. That's been a really, really major part. And then just as far as the mere question, I ask them questions, and it's if something happened that before they get into session, I just ask. I try to present it as an opportunity to learn about that situation. And often comes down to the simplest thing. Like there was some road rage things and some questions about it, and does that make you angry? What is the emotion kind of coming from that? And then most people are not asking questions, especially in this sort of environment. But that emotion we can utilize in a workout session, or to help them recognize that something is maybe keeping them stuck. So it's a little bit difficult to directly relate, we'll say, using mirrors inside of a profession. But when I educate, what I do is actually educating personal trainer, cast development, and I'm always tying in the, we'll say, deservingness and purpose kind of into what I teach. Because when basically the way that I bring it up is when you're able to give your 100% all and effort into something, you're proving to yourself that what you is achievable. And beyond that of just working on your business and tying those together, you sell and allows you to go out and build what you want to build. So that the to yourself. Let's commit to what you're choosing to do here. And because when personal trainers and people helping others can do that, that really opens up the next level of help for others, or for them helping, or the people that they're helping, I should say.
Yeah. And so you mentioned that a lot of times it's just looking at yourself, as these people are perfect mirrors for you. So
yeah, for the most part, the mirrors I use solely for me, because I think that I've oftentimes had other people want mirrors for me, and I've noticed that it's like, okay, thank you for showing that a-hole. Yeah. Because obviously what I've learned is that I can change I can find it as an opportunity to grow. The people that I'm with can see that work done, and to or even you just have an energetic shift around me relating to something. And because my goal is to teach ourselves more, and part of my in the people level more actually learning and improving myself so that they can see the work and the growth that's taking place. Internalize a lot of this just because the more that I work on myself, the more one of the theme, I guess, that keeps coming back.
Yeah. So I think what you said is really important, that you become the example of using mirrors. So do you ever do that out loud, or is it more of just an internal thing, or how does that work for
you? When I recognize something that is bugging me or is not in the vibration that I try to their acknowledgement, just there's an acknowledgement of this thing that I recognize as a learning experience, mirror, to put it plainly. And I take it and tuck it in my back pocket, but acknowledge it, take it in my back pocket, and use it in my self meditation, when set aside time to work on myself internally through meditation, and through what kind of your and your classes have taught me is to that once I go through and recognize the mirror, do a meditation process happened, I'm giving a message, take out the world, and a real to base on that mirror. And like find is cleaning that, recognizing, acknowledging it, and is that and doing that is taking action on putting it out in the world, that I did mirror this issue, as recognized that I probably maybe had a limiting belief, and now I'm going out and we'll say taking action to clean that up entirely.
Mhm.
So yeah, oftentimes it is more of an internal process. The my wife sometimes does like to point out things on, and it may be it, and that's something that I'm grateful for and recognizing. Maybe not right in that moment because I'm a little angry or something, but I like to take the mirror. I like to acknowledge it, recognize it, put it in my back, and then really open all the cards from the day in my back pocket and work on them.
Yeah, yeah. And do you ever share about, whether it be with your wife or a client or a student or whoever? Do you ever say,
So
"God,
yeah,
this is what I learned"? Yeah.
so maybe not to the depth of this limiting belief that I had created as a child help or was recognized from this mirror, but more what I typically go as far as my education, my teaching, my helping of others is of 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 through something right now, and I'm going to be here to ask them a question and just have them talk, but then recognize that oftentimes when we go out into the world something, and whatever they're going through may not necessarily be a learning experience for us, but me recognizing that I don't if this that day there's something that's so deep and difficult that it's uh, maybe I can help brighten their day in some way. So as opposed to obviously it is a mirror, but if having this round, oftentimes I'll do something to brighten their day, and yeah, I get kind of not I don't go to the depth of that I've had as I do internalize most of those. But what I do like to do going through a meditation is talk about that I love closest, like my wife, even my kids, in recognizing, hey, daddy was angry because of this, and I explain the process that is something that I definitely feel helps me personally, just what happened, as well as we internalize, reflect, and mirror.
I was going to ask you about your, because you have 4 opportunities to teach. That's great. You do that. Can you give us a little bit more detail about what you do? Because that's awesome.
I mean, it's the of parenting. I have a 2, a 4, 2, 4, a 6, and an 8. So the patient, when I'm recognizing that there's a massive variance in my parenting, because as much as I want to be a shining example of self-love at all times, relating to helping them grow into humans, I realized that so much of parenting is we'll say guiding in a way that is not only by example, also by structure.
Yeah.
And I think the best way that I can be a great parent is to really show them how I love myself, and why I love myself, and bring that out and share. And a lot of that is simply having fun, playing and doing what I love, and with them, as well as really show the kids my life and how that feel, and and also then at the same time, 70% of the time it's going the more traditional parenting of let's teach you respect through uh, various pathways. So because I, doing all this work so early in my life, by the time I had kids, I'm like, I'm going to be this example of a dad, and everything's going to go great, and it's all going to be so easy because I've worked on myself. And while all that work has made me able to love myself and enjoy my time with my kids and love kids more, the truth of the matter is that raising kids is my truth is that raising kids is also requires so much. It requires you to be the dad. It requires you to be the discipline. It requires you to have the ability to show respect to yourself and to others by teaching, respect as well. And so yeah, that's kind of as far as what the parenting aspect is with all of this for sure.
Very different than about it. If your place of discipline instruction, well, and I can't stand that mirror.
Absolutely. And yeah, let me tell you, kid, bring all the mirror. But yeah, intention with Lynn is absolutely.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I don't say I'm doing this because I love you to be, and it's I don't realize that, but that's the intent that I feel like I have, and holding that it helps me actually to be a better discipline, as odd as that sounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing about your mom. You chose her, she chose your kids, they chose you, all about the lesson. They're perfect. It just a story when my son was about 4 years old, he became a rebellious creature. All of a sudden he was rebellious. He's rebelling already. It's some inner work about it. I realized he would need that I had hated and judged and thought I was hurting my mom. So showing that to me. What's interesting is the mirror is the other side is stop reminding that to me. Stop rebellion. He never went. It's really interesting. Yeah, mirrors are powerful.
I love that, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, no, I absolutely love that.
So we only have a few minutes. What do you tell us about? I can't just say, I want to be a personal trainer. And I come ready, I want a personal trainer, but I can't do it. And I'm scared. And I'm not in shape. Who I am, I'm a person. What would you say to me?
Yeah, well, so I mean, I deal with so what we do is we certify personal trainers. We are a certification body at fitnessmentors.com. We and get a start in their careers within the industry. But specifically, we really help with ability to create a business that's sustainable, because oftentimes the personal trainer path is going to a gym and getting up early, staying there late, getting paid hourly to train people. What we really focus on is how can you develop the skills to entrepreneur, business owner as a fitness and health professional. What we do in that is through educating and the bigger picture of you're committing to do this. The more work that you put into this, the better results you'll get typically as a business professional, but also to help others. And that's where we get to talking a lot about the big pictures. Most of my podcasts and lectures I end with the ability of, hey, the work that you just put in, and the by you being here and listening to this is proving yourself that you're here to improve yourself. Learn to love yourself more, help others do the same, and that really creates this big picture work. And focus on is through education on entrepreneurship, on business, on the way that you work on your business, all of that we educate on. We assist people in helping shape, because the more people that our trainers can help, the more exponential effect on health, fitness in the world. So the that sort of I guess you'd call it mantra or focus into the structured education of what you need to learn to train people safely and effectively, and then grow and build a business. So that's really unique. We'll say this is we're developing not just the personal trainer, and that's really what we like to lean into and help our clients do.
And you help them learn ways to other people and their fears, or help me get fears to be. How does that work?
Absolutely. And once again, I jump back to the them working on themselves. It's odd, but I've really kind of thinking on this. It's can you, our motivation, I'd say, really comes in the to our clients to recognize that they have a choice to grow in their profession, to grow in their life, to grow in their ability to levels. And our focuses on where can you work to better yourself. And that's, I see a lot of our motivations, because everyone has fears and into feeling like you need to be this shining example of health and fitness. It's not about it's about, are you able to do something to help others love themselves more through whatever vehicle or facet that you choose, and the people through health, fitness, and personal training. And what I try to shine as the vehicle for growth, as a vehicle for helping what profession that you choose. The focus that is there is you are work self, which allows you to then help others love themselves more. And that's kind of I'd say where I fall in that as far as motivation.
Yeah. And it's all to love them. That's on some really good. So we'll get in touch with you here.
Yeah, but so visiting Fitness Mentor, we have a podcast on that site. We have 150 episodes going over everything personal training that involves kind of the big picture, the big picture focus, as well as just connecting with me through the website. We have live chats, the phone numbers on there to connect with me and the team, and we're open to helping anyone that's interested in sort of the health and fitness pathway of growth, we'll say.
Fitnessmentor.com.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much for sharing wisdom and all the work you've done on mirrors and your life, and being in touch with your purpose and what it's for everyone. I know your mom was with us today, so and reaching out to both, saying that she wanted to support this amazing and this work. So important. I will see you this coming Wednesday, Awakening Show. If anybody's coming out to me to doing he was 17. Me awaken, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, guys.
Oh.